Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to take a look at oil from a fundamental, technical, as well as an order flow perspective and find the best probability to look for a trading opportunity. Now, if you are new to the channel, a sub would be appreciated as I provide valuable educational content on a daily basis. And if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And as always, let me know in the comments below exactly what it is that you would like for me to cover in my next video. Now I'm just looking at the oil from a technical perspective, so we're going to start on the monthly time frame. Firstly, we could see our oil had basically went to what's that 120 sorry $130 per barrel almost. So the market had found some support that it had previously rejected from, because we saw the market break had tested that level there a couple of times in the past, so there was clear indication that we could have seen the market reject to that level. However, this rejection that you see at the moment is very aggressive. And if you look at the last previous level of resistance that the market had created was sitting at this level, also there is a high possibility that oil could pull back to that level before we could potentially see any continuation to the upside. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind, if I have to take you back very quickly, back in the days when the coronavirus started, right, we saw the prices of oil, which is right here. The prices of oil spilled right below zero. Now, at the moment, China has also gone back into lockdown. Now, as a result of that, so there's a whole mixture for investors. We've got China back into lockdown, and we also got Russia and Ukraine looking like they might come to an agreement. And that's the problem with, with the investor sentiment. As soon as they smell something, just a little bit of hope, then the first thing they do is they do exactly what they see here, because they know what the outcome is going to be if they had to hold on their positions. Now, the first thing that we are going to identify is the strong level of resistance that we can expect the market to come and test as support. Now, here on the weekly time frame, what do we see? Now, from a weekly perspective, it's very clear that the market had also printed this strong level of resistance over there that is acting as a level of support. Are we going to use that also as a take profit level in the market that we want the market to come and test before we see that continuation to the downside there as well? Now, the market is going to continue this bearish structure until it finds a previous level of support, and that is the most recent support that the market had created there as well. Now, if we drop down on the daily time frame, what do we see? Now, from a daily perspective, it's very clear. Now, if you look at this, you can see how the market printed that head and shoulders pattern. We can see how the market had melted to the downside. Now, the best way for us as traders, we have to look for a selling opportunity is, as we can see over here, this was the level of support that the market had created. Now, the best way to trade this would be for the market to pull back to that level and then start looking for selling opportunities to the downside. In doing so, all of this level of support here will then become a resistance, so we can definitely expect the market to continue to the downside over there. Now, the next thing we are going to do is look at some order flow data, so the commitment of traders, what the biggest speculators are doing in the market, so the big banks, hedge funds and institutions. We can see here, based off the last 2 weeks report, they have started closing their buying positions. We can see how they're no longer interested in buying the oil. We can also see that they started adding more selling positions, and we can clearly see that in the price action with the meltdown that the market has provided us. Overall net positions also went from 2.5k sitting at minus 1.6k at the moment, giving us a further confirmation that the bearish momentum is highly expected for the US oil. Now, to give you a bit of perspective, you can also expect the stock prices to continue to plummet if China does decide to go into a complete lockdown as well, because we're starting to see a similar pattern to the one we saw in the coronavirus. Now, this is an article from CNBC. Reads here, US oil tumbles more than 8%, dips below $100 a barrel. Now, if you look at this part that I just want to highlight you guys very quickly, it says here, US oil tumbles more than 8% on Monday, breaking below $100 per barrel amid talks between Russia and Ukraine, as well as new lockdowns in China, which could dent demand. Now, again, that's what I'm saying. So as soon as investors starts to see, or they start to hear that Ukraine and Russia is going to meet with a conversation, then they sell based off fear. Then they start selling their positions because there are also speculators expecting the market that they expect that the Russia and Ukraine is going to come to an agreement. So for that reason, they start selling. But to make matters even worse is China comes out of nowhere and they announce new lockdown as well. So now you've got a double whammy where you've got, you know, these, these investors going, okay, maybe Russia is going to stop bombing Ukraine, but we also got another problem because we saw what happened during the pandemic when China was the first people to go into lockdown, and the prices of oil just started smashing to the floor. So you've got both of these things that are concerning investors at the moment. And if no light comes out of this, then you can expect the prices of oil to continue to the downside. And like I said, stock prices are going to fall there as well. And just looking at this headline here, catching my eye, Netflix says hit lowest point since March 2020 when the pandemic starts. Another indication that the stock market is going to hit the low prices, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care who says what, it's back to coronavirus part 2 for us over here. This article over here, ladies and gentlemen, come from the New York Times. This is the latest developments. It says here, negotiators from Russia and Ukraine met again today for another round of talks amid of at finding a way out of the war. Even as Russian forces broadened their devastating offense at Kremlin insisted, and then the story goes on. But we don't really care much about, what Harasa, how Harasa felt about what they did, because clearly they don't show that much of remorse in order for what they've done. So we have two things over here. Firstly, we've got the Usoil in the bearish market. The market's currently trading below a level of support, and once supports get broken, it becomes resistance. We have the probability or the possibility of China going back into the lockdown, and we've got a possibility for Russia and Ukraine to come to an agreement. Now, all of that is just bad news for commodities, oil, and like I said, stocks included as well. The next support for the US oil is sitting at $95 a barrel. We can potentially see oil go and hit that level, even go further and hit this level if nothing comes out of these talks. And if Russia does agree to step away, which is less likely, then oil could potentially pull back, but they've got another problem with with China also going into a lockdown there as well. So from where I'm sitting now, ladies and gentlemen, oil is about to give up the gains that it had accumulated, profit taking had taken place. The rest of this is what you call fear in the market. Investors are scared because they expect things could probably settle down, and they know once China gets into lockdown, it becomes even more as well. Now we can also see here, based off their reports, they have been closing. Let me just cancel that. Sorry, they have been closing. Okay, well, I'm not going to. So we obviously saw on the what you call it on the COT report that they started closing their long positions and they started selling this market aggressively. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all from my side. I want to say thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for your time and taking out the time to watch this video. I will see you in the next video, and as always, cheers for ears.